Hey guys, welcome back to Teen Nation. This is going to be a spoiler discussion, review, talk, deal about Avengers Infinity War. I know it's late. Okay, I know it's late. I know I'm like the last person to have posted a spoiler review, but I wanted to think it over a lot more before I actually talked about it. A lot happens in this movie, and I just wanted to make sure I get everything. Yeah, full spoiler. Let's just freaking jump into it.
What was your favorite part of the movie?
I feel like everyone says this, but like all the character interactions were really good. Oh man, I hated Doctor Strange in his solo movie, and then sure enough, in this movie, I walked out and I'm like, I love Doctor Strange. He's so good, and he had like such a great moment, like fighting Thanos, and I literally have been saying, why doesn't he just like multiply and like attack people like while he's like multiplied and stuff? And then they did that in the movie. I'm like, wow. I wrote this movie. I wrote that whole fight sequence. I just want y'all to know that. But yeah, I felt like there was a lot of good moments. There's not one particular scene that I'm like is my favorite. There's a lot of really good moments throughout the film. Like a lot of good character moments.
What would you say didn't work for you in the movie, though?
What didn't work? Oh man, I love Wong, but like that. Have you seen those memes? Where it's like Wong's like, "Oh, y'all fighting Thanos." Oh, y'all crazy. Y'all
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah,
Y'all
I'm
be
like,
safe.
Y'all be safe, yeah. I'm like, oh man. I mean it's cool that Wong's in it, but to introduce him and then just be like peace out. Like he just like pieces out. And also other than like that Wong, like I felt like his part was just so like unnecessary. Like he really didn't have to be there, to be honest. And then what is he supposed to be guarding? I still think it's unclear why they're guarding the sanctums. So I'm like, what is he guarding? Like I feel like that was just an excuse for him not wanting to go with them. But that's a whole another thing. Another thing I didn't like was Peter Dinklage in this movie. God. I snickered. I was like, when you see him, and he's like, whoa, he like walks like towards Thor and shit. I'm like, oh my God, Peter, what did they do to you? Like, oh yeah, I wasn't buying it. I wasn't buying the whole space dwarf thing, giant dwarf thing. It's just weird. It was weird. Yeah.
I feel like I bought that more like the second time than I did the first time. The first time I was like, that's Peter
Yeah, because you knew it
Dinklage.
was coming.
Yeah.
It just felt out of place. Like that whole sequence felt like it belonged in Lord of the Rings. Like he looked like a character out of Lord of the Rings. So I was taken out of the movie a little bit. I was like, wait, what movie are we in now? Okay, but other than that, yeah, I just didn't really like the whole Peter Dinklage being in it. Like I felt like the whole Thor subplot, it worked for me, but then it didn't. Like there were some parts where I was like, I really like this, and then some parts where I'm like, I don't really. It's taking too much time. Like where's that Wakanda fight? Can I go back to that? Like I don't know. I just felt like there were other things I'd rather be watching. I do have to say though, him coming in at the very end, I was not expecting that. And when he comes in, my whole theater, every time I've seen it, the theater just goes freaking crazy. Like Chris Hemsworth has won over the people. Okay, Thor is like a lot of people's favorite character now. And starting the MCU, like if you would have asked me like 6 years ago when Avengers came out, who's your favorite Avenger? It wasn't Thor, I can tell you that. And most people can say now that like Thor is a badass motherfucker. Like he's a really cool dude.
Speaking of fantasy elements, there was a new character, or an old character that made a new appearance in this one, the Red Skull. What did you think about that? Looking like a Dementor?
Oh yeah. The first time I saw it, I was like, what? And it's alright. It's alright. Like it made sense. I don't know. I felt like they kind of shoehorned him in there, just to kind of like tie up some loose ends. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like after, when he has the Tesseract in Captain America, he like goes to space and he had to go somewhere, so it makes sense, I guess. Can I go back to the thing I don't like? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm really disappointed with the Black Order. I got my little pop figures here. So. These were the only 2 members of the Black Order that were worth a damn. Okay, Ebony Maw was so good in this movie. Like he's just like, rejoice because even in death you'll be children of Thanos. And like I really liked the voice actor who I don't know who voice acted him, but yeah, it was a cool idea to have like an Irish guy like voice act him. And then Proxima Midnight, I like her battle. I like her beef with like Wanda and like Black Widow. like she has such beef with them. I don't know why, but it's like that whole sequence where she, like, hits Wanda and she's like, "You're gonna die alone," just like Vision is, and Black Widow saves the day and she's like, she's not alone, and it's like her and Okoye, and like that is such a good scene. And honestly, all three of those women like fighting Proxima Midnight was like the scene I always wanted from Harry Potter, where it was supposed to be Bellatrix Lestrange fighting Luna, Hermione, and Jenny in the book. And then it doesn't even happen in the movie. It's just a really lame sequence. Okay, that's a whole nother movie. But
Yeah, like,
sorry. It
this
just
is
it
Harry
really
Potter review.
really bugs me. Anyway, but yeah, other than that, Proxima Midnight and Ebony Maw were the only two members I felt like were useful. It was kind of wasteful to put the Black Order in this movie. Like, they didn't really do anything. Like, yeah, they were cool, like, to see the heroes like battle them, but they weren't their own characters. Like, you know nothing about them. If you didn't read the comics, you don't know who these characters are. And it was just, yeah, wasteful. I would say it was wasteful to have them in this movie. They were kind of unnecessary. And I kind of wish they would have just picked, like, random-ass followers. Like, he had random followers. They made him up for the movie.
If they hadn't made it like the Black Order and it just kind of made like random people fill in, it would have been the problem with Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's kinda what they did with that.
Yeah. Speaking of things that most people probably didn't like, I've seen a lot of people not be happy about this, but Gamora's death. Yeah, I dug it. I'm not gonna lie. I was emotionally invested in that scene. Like, to be honest, like the Red Skull was being so shady in that scene. Whenever like Gamora's like she laughed and she like you've never loved anything in your life. Ha 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 ha. Joke's on you. And he turns around, crying and shit, and the Red Skull looking, oh shit. And then you as the audience member like, Anyway, you know what's about to happen, Gamora. Wow, tears. Wow, tears. You're crying. And Red Skull, that ain't for him, girl. Like, oh boy.
Red Skull's over there sipping the tea, just like girl.
Yeah, I know, he's so shady. But I really like that sequence because it's like a great contrast between the flashback sequence where you see Gamora willingly go with him, and that like really cool shot where you see like them walking away together. You know, they're both. She's willing to go with him, and then in the end, whenever he has to kill her, he's forcing her off that cliff, and it's like it's a really great contrast between the two. It's like, oh man, and to be honest, like I bought the whole father-daughter thing. You know, we always talk about like Loki and Thor and their relationship with Odin and stuff. Like, no one in the MCU has a good dad other than T'Challa, you know? But this was a little bit more reminiscent of someone who's like had a tumultuous relationship with their father because he's crazy. Like, some people have that kind of relationship with their parents where like they're abusive and like they're crazy. And in their minds, they still love their kids, but you know, they're just crazy, you know, and they treat them like shit. And so it's interesting to see that perspective in this movie, which I feel like we don't really touch upon in a lot of movies. And in this, he actually cared about her, and he just was a terrible father. Like, so.
I think that's actually a pretty good comparison there. And I also like the Gamora scene was a very interesting scene because you had that aspect where it shows between the flashback, and then you also had, it was a parallel to Quill having to try to sacrifice her, and then Scarlet Witch having to sacrifice Vision in the end.
Yeah, like sacrifice was a major theme in this whole movie. Like, all these characters were forced to make a decision, like either sacrifice something they love or, you know, let the universe be destroyed. Peter had to sacrifice Gamora. Thanos had to sacrifice Gamora. Wanda had to sacrifice Vision. And even Doctor Strange had to sacrifice the Time Stone. You know, so like, there was a lot of moments where characters had to sacrifice something for people. Bringing up fucking Peter Quill, Star-Lord, I was so angry at his character. Honestly, his character did not work for me the whole movie. It just kind of reminded me that he was annoying the whole time. I just felt like anytime he opened his mouth, I was like, shut up, shut your bitch ass up. Like, he literally just has nothing to actually offer when you think about it. He's just a guy. Like, honestly, it was good to see, like, Steve and them again. They really weren't in this movie a whole lot, though. Yeah, Bucky really wasn't in this movie a lot either. A lot of the stuff I really wanted to see didn't happen, but I'm okay with it, I guess. Like,
I like the story they told.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I guess I did get what I wanted because in my speculation video, I speculated they were gonna do something really epic with Wanda's character, and I was right, and that's all I wanted to see. You know, you see that really cool like moment. You see a couple cool moments with her, like her saving Vision against Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive. That was cool, and then her in Wakanda saving all of them with those like roller things coming after them.
Oh yeah.
She like lifts them up and throws them. I was like, that's pretty cool. But what really solidified her to me as one of the most powerful people in the MCU is that last moment where she's forced to destroy the Infinity Stone. And she does it while she's like holding back Thanos as he's approaching her. And I thought that whole sequence was like really impactful. Like, and I really hope that we see more of her character. I know she died. I don't know, a lot of people died, but they're coming back. Speaking of Doctor Strange, he knew that was gonna happen. He knew all of the shit was gonna happen. You know, like he said, he was like, I saw like 41 million timelines, like, and this was the only one that was gonna work. And he knew that he was gonna have to lose this one battle so that Tony could live, because Tony's gonna be the key to saving all of them in the next film, probably. You know, like.
MCU still Tony's bitch.
Yeah. I hope he dies. When he got shanked, I was like, yes. Oh, oh yes. Especially whenever Loki died, I was like, oh, I knew it. I'm so happy that Weasel's dead. Anyway.
What's the most tragic death for you?
I don't know. The Collector. I'm kidding. I don't know. Yeah, probably Black Panther. I know he's not dead. All the people that disappeared, they're probably not dead. But yeah, like him dying was like kind of sad to me. Like, especially because, you know, he just got a solo movie and it was so good and I wanted to see more of him. And then he just like disappears and he's like going to help Okoye up and he's like, come on, General, this isn't a place to die. And then he disappears and you just see Okoye's like face just like, what? Like, what? Like,
that's crazy.
Damn, that's great. That's crazy. Yeah, that was, yeah. I love Black Panther. I know a lot of people were like, but Peter Parker. Yeah, I don't know. He'll be all right. It was sad. It was sad because it's like he's a kid. You know, it's like he's like 16 years old in this. Actually, probably like a little bit older because this is like 2 years after Civil War and he was 15 in Civil War. Oh, yeah, so he's like 17 years old now. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. His death was sad. Yeah. He'll be alright though. He's coming back. All these people are coming back. Like, it doesn't matter. But in the moment, I feel for him. Like, it's sad. It is sad. So
final thoughts on Infinity War.
Yeah, final thoughts. I feel like this movie would be really hard if you weren't keeping up with the other movies. Like, if you hadn't seen, especially the most recent ones, like, you wouldn't know what's going on. You wouldn't know half these, storylines. So this movie really catered to Marvel fans. And honestly, this is like the first movie of its kind. Like, no movie has ever been built up like this. Like, 18 films in the making. It's not a normal film. So, because it's not finished either. Like, most films have a beginning, middle, end. There is no end to this one. It's an experience. And I would even say the beginning isn't a traditional beginning. It's kind of like it just starts off where another movie left off, which we saw at the very end of Thor Ragnarok. It's hard to rate. So I don't know. I don't have a ranking for it amongst the other Marvel films yet. But I'm getting there.
Might have to wait till the next one comes out.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I need a palate cleanser. Like, I feel like that's why that movie's coming out next. It's like, all right, no more death. Let's just give y'all something fun to watch. All in all, go see it. Well, all in all, why are y'all watching a spoiler review if you haven't seen it? Like, yeah, you've all seen it. Anyway, damn, you fighting Thanos? That's crazy. Okay. I like the one where it's like, who's all gonna be there? Okay, anyway, thanks for watching. Yeah, y'all know what to do.